What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We're back with some more Saturday NBA props. We have a 5 or 6 game slate, I believe, today. A lot of back-to-back games, and it is a 5-game slate, my bad. But a lot of back-to-back games we've got to worry about today as well. I think there's 3 back-to-back teams playing, so got to be prepared for those. We'll talk about those in a minute. We're going to go over 2 free slips on parlay play and Prizepicks that we're going to lock in live with you guys. Before I do anything, I do want to pick a winner from yesterday's video to win a free month of VIP. Now, as you can see, this video got 281 comments. This video did extremely well. I'm super thankful for you guys. Had a lot of comments saying bot comments. Now, I personally have never and never will pay for a comment if that's what you guys are, or a couple of you are insinuating. But some people could be creating new accounts to try to double enter in the giveaway, and that's definitely potential. I don't know. If I find out someone is doing that, then obviously I'll re-roll for the free month of VIP, but I'm not going to go and check every single account in the comments. I'm just going to throw that out there. So most comments are supportive and nice. We have a couple of negative Nancy's down there. That's perfectly fine. It doesn't hurt my feelings by any means. But I do want to say I do appreciate every single one of you, including the negative Nancy's. And let's go ahead and pick our winner from yesterday. So if this video today gets 250 likes, in tomorrow's video, I will select a random person to win a free month of our VIP. So leave a like on the video, drop a comment down below. Let's go ahead and pick our winner. So the winner from yesterday is going to be for, a drum roll, please. And my internet's awful today, man. So we got Zosham who put W. So Zosham or Zosham, however you say your name, man, send me a message on Discord. I will get you added for that free month of VIP. Just send me a screenshot of your YouTube account, and then I'll get you added. But I do appreciate you, and I appreciate the comment. So looking at some of our plays from yesterday, I gave one slip, I think, is all I locked in live yesterday on the free picks. And that was Doncic, Bam, and Brunson. So if you guys tailed this, we had a nice little 250 for 505 win there. We had some bad beats yesterday, don't get me wrong. Everything wasn't just green. Some of our apps looked a little bit rough. Parlay play, I actually lost a unit on overall. Played 3 slips, had a hook on 2 of them, and then cashed 1 of them. So I did lose a unit on parlay play. Sleeper was incredibly good to us, so we got to talk about Sleeper here in a minute as well. But here's what I recommend, guys. You're going to see me playing on a bunch of different platforms. I do this because a lot of platforms provide discounts. So all platforms are going to have different value. An example of this is Brunson, 1.5 3 points made, was a very good play on parlay play specifically because it was boosted. You're going to get the same thing on some underdogs. This was a play that I played on underdog. It was Brunson, AD, and then Anthony Edwards. I played this because I had $102.50 in bonus funds that were going to expire. So my bonus funds, obviously, if you play those 30% boosts, you'll continue to build up bonus funds on underdog, and you have to play them to get them out of the bonus fund. So that's what I did. I flipped it to get this into real money, which is withdrawable. So that's what we did on that slip there. Had some college football, obviously. NBA is not the only sport. We still have NBA or NFL and college football. I'll be playing those as well. So you're going to see some college football slips, especially today on a Saturday. There's not going to be a college football video, but there will be a lot of college football props in the Discord. So if you guys like college football and like NFL, the Discord is where to be. I will be giving a free college football slip to the Discord. So make sure you guys are in the Discord, the free area of the Discord at least. If you're not in there already, link to the free Discord is down in the description. Giannis and Brunson. Here's the Sleeper, man. Sleeper, we just ran up a bag yesterday. Sleeper kept giving us these discounts. We cashed like every single discount in like the last 2 days on these NBA discounts they're giving on Sleeper. So been killing them. Hit this AD Doncic second half play on Prizepicks. Then we also hit this college football teaser that we ran, $575, profited $500. So decent day yesterday. It wasn't amazing by any means. It wasn't like one of those great we swept the board days, but it wasn't bad. So if you guys do want to get all of our plays, you can join through the link down in the description in the WAP link. What that does, you just connect your Discord to your WAP after you pay through WAP, and you'll have VIP access to every single VIP channel on the Discord. There's an Elite channel, and then there's the irregular VIP. Both give you all the plays. Elite is more of a one-on-one mentorship style thing. If you guys do want to get in that, it's a little bit more expensive. Not much more. It's about twice the price, but I'm not charging like $200 or $300 like some people do on this. So if you guys want to join, it is there as well. But that being said, guys, let's go ahead and jump into some free picks. Let's talk about these games. If you guys prefer, I know NFL, I can go a little bit more in depth on stats. I'll talk about these games, and I can give better props and stuff. For NBA, I'm trying to talk about the games just to kind of give some insight on why I like the player props. I know I've asked this the other day, but there were some negative comments about the first like 10 minutes of the video being in quotes useless. So if you guys don't like this, let me know, and I'll cut this part out. Talking for 10 minutes or 15 minutes sometimes obviously is more time consuming for me anyways, but I just enjoy doing it. So just let me know what you want to see. Obviously, if you want me to keep the videos the exact same way they are, they will stay the exact same. I'll say screw the haters for sure, but I do want to make the channel as good as possible for everybody. So trying to make it make the content at least viewable. But anyways, let's talk about this game. So the first one we have is going to be the Bulls versus the Magic. Obviously, we had the Magic playing against the Hawks yesterday. I took the Magic to win, and I also took the Magic and the game total under like 234.5. And I got some hate on the game total yesterday, but it soared way under. It was like 20 points under. So cashed that one out. Looking at today's matchup, Magic back-to-back versus the Bulls. Magic are minus 215 at home, minus 5.5 on the spread, and the total is sitting at 232.5. You got 66% of the money on the Magic winning, 74% of them on them covering the spread, and then 85% on the money is on the over on this total. Now, I'll fade the total on this. Probably going to. I might think about the spread. I'm not too keen on this one. Magic on a back-to-back. I think the Magic's the far better team. The Bulls are they're kind of mid. They dominated the first game. Vucevic looked very, very good. So we gotta give them some credit in game one. But I don't think they have the better team, even though the Magic is on a back-to-back. But 2 plus 212 odds. If you want to sprinkle some on Chicago, I don't think that's a bad line. We can go ahead and pull up their games from this season so far, and if my Outlier screws up and doesn't load again like it's been doing all morning, I've been trying to record this video for about an hour and a half right now, and my internet just randomly goes out. So I'm going to have to call my internet provider or something and get a new modem, which I saw a comment, that was my plan to do anyway. I've just been slacking on it. But yeah, this is getting a little bit out of hand. As you guys can see, nothing will load. So I'm just going to not click this. We're just going to make this a little bit faster. But all right, my pick for this game. I think the Magic win. I really do. Minus 215. I think the Bulls could cover the spread. I do. If you can get the spread at 6.5 or 6 or 6.5 or more, and just take a little bit less of a payout, it's plus 110 at 5.5. I think the Bulls can keep this a little bit close. They look pretty good in game one, so that's what I'm going to run with. I'm not going to touch the total on this one. If I was going to run the total, I'm probably leaning the under, man. 232.5. I'm probably leaning the under. And I only say that because Orlando is on a back-to-back, and tired legs makes it a lot harder to make shots. They had a tough game yesterday, and the Bulls don't have a lot of offensive players right now that can score a lot of points. So we'll see. I kind of lean the under on this one. Obviously, that could go either way for sure. It could end up being just a really fast-paced game. But for me, my personal opinion, it goes under, and I would just take Magic to win. But I think the Bulls do cover a 6-ish spread if you want to take that. Looking at game two, we got the Hornets playing the Sixers. Hornets looked fire in game one. That doesn't make me want to trust the Hornets as a Hornets fan and go to a lot of Hornets games. They are not a very good team usually, and they've been struggling the last few years for sure. But looking at this, we got Philly minus 179 at home, minus 4.5 on the spread, total sitting at 236.5. So a very good game total, very good for player props if you want to play player props. 82% of the money's on Charlotte to win. So you got to look at that. 82% of the money's on the Hornets at plus 178. And if you look at the spread on this, 53% is on the Hornets to cover the spread. Total, 95% of the money on the over on this total. This is tough, man, because Philly hasn't. Edgecombe and stuff's been looking very good. They don't look bad, but obviously we don't have the same Embiid as we had in previous years. Embiid's been struggling a little bit. This one's kind of coin flip. I want to take the Hornets because I don't want to root against them, and they did look good in game one, but it's very hard for me to want to put money on the Hornets and trust it. So this one's going to be a fade for me. If I was going to put half a unit just for fun, I'd probably just throw it on the Hornets at plus money. But realistically, in my brain and not in my heart, I feel like Philly's going to end up winning. So that's what I'm just going to say. That one's kind of a fade for me, but we'll see. Maybe I do sprinkle half a unit on it. Game three we have is OKC taking on the Hawks. Hawks plus 233 at home, plus 6.5 on the spread, and the total sitting at 238.5. So another very fast game. Obviously, the Hawks are on a back-to-back. I think, they got the dub last night. Hold up a second. Let me pull that up really quick. I'm pretty sure they did because they lost the game one, correct? Yeah, so they won 111 to 107. So it was a very close game versus the Magic. Game total went under, like I said. But this game versus OKC, now, OKC has some injury news right now, and I'm going to try this one more time. See, it won't load, man. I want to show the lineup. Now nothing's going to load. I done goofed, boys. Done goofed. All right, well, on my phone, I have all the games pulled up, so I can look at it right now on the Scores app. I don't know why my internet's so bad, so bear with me. I do apologize for any inconvenience. I might have to cut this part out if it gets any longer, but we'll see. All right, guys, so it has been 2 hours of me trying to record this video, and the frustration is getting very real. So I almost gave up on the YouTube video, almost just said I'm not going to do a video today, but it started working. 2 hours later, I am going to attempt to lock these in very, very quickly. So let's talk about the player props. Hopefully before this internet goes out again, I'll be good to go. But first one I had was iHeart. I was wanting to take Isaiah Hartenstein. We played him 9.5 rebounds the other day. I like this play again. You can get him at 9.5 on most platforms. You look at him this season, he's cashed it 1 of 2 games. He had 14 his last game versus the Pacers. And a lot of people don't like iHeart because last year, or if you look at his last 20, this looks horrible. So this is what they look at. They look at the end of the season last year, and then they look at I guess the second half of the season, he just didn't look very good. Look at him at the beginning of the season. And the main thing here for Hartenstein is his minutes. So you can see his minutes right here. He's averaged 26.4 minutes per game. You can see at the beginning of the season getting big minutes. That towards the end of the season, his minutes gradually go down. Their lineup right now, Wallace is game time decision. Holmgren's game time decision. They're still missing Isaiah Joe. They're still missing Caruso. They're still missing Jalen Williams. They're missing a lot of key players, which allows Hartenstein to get bigger minutes. If you look at him this season, he's averaging 37 minutes per game. Both of these games did go to overtime, so you do have to realize that. He got bigger minutes because of overtime for sure, but he still should play minimum close to 28, 29 minutes at minimum, in my opinion. If you look at him last season, and we bring his minutes up to just put it at 26. Put his minutes at 26. I don't see him going under that for sure. If he does, I'd be very surprised. But if you put him at 26 minutes, he's cashed his rebound line in 82% of games last season, which is an averaging 12 boards per game on average. Put him head-to-head data versus Atlanta. He had 10 boards in his only game versus Atlanta last season. It doesn't matter the minutes. He only played 1 game versus ATL. ATL is a decently fast-paced team. They don't give up a ton of boards, 7th in the league in terms of rebounds allowed from last season's stats, which is around 12 boards per game. Hartenstein should be able to get him, in my opinion, and I like him over 9.5 rebounds. So we'll pull Hartenstein up again. You can look at his board line. His board line is sitting at 9.5, 1.71x. Isaiah Hartenstein, you can get him here on Prizepicks. It is going to be a 10 line, I believe. So we'll pull this up real quick. We're going to go to rebounds, and then we're going to scroll down here and find that game. First of all, I don't feel like typing in his name because I don't know that it'll load. It just takes longer for some reason for me right now. But Hartenstein, 10 boards. You can get him at. You can't get him at 9.5. If you want to take him on Prizepicks for 10, you're more than welcome. My personal recommendation is not to play the potential push that you would get on this line. A push just means that you hit the exact number. So if you have a 0.5 line, you can't push. So if he gets 8 or he gets 10, or at 9.5, he either gets 10 or he gets 9, and you either chalk or you cash. You can't push. Sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's good. If this was a 9 line, it would be better for us to have that line because 9 would cash, but it's higher than what we're taking, and we're taking an over, so I'd recommend just fading this and going with 9.5. So 9.5 boards for Hartenstein. I like this again. I'll probably keep running it as long as he keeps getting minutes like this because it's been a pretty good hit rate on that play, and the matchup tonight doesn't seem that bad to me. I like this one versus the Hawks. Hopefully it's not a blowout win. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, especially if Holmgren ends up sitting, which I don't think he will, but Atlanta on the back-to-back at home, you never know, man. This could end up being ugly. So hopefully it stays close. Hopefully Hartenstein gets the minutes he needs, and 10 boards should be doable for our man iHeart. Jumping into the second pick of the day, we're going to jump over to the Bulls side of things. I'm taking our man Vucevic. Played him a couple days ago. Vucevic has been the beginning of last season, Vucevic was a wagon. Second half, he fell off. And then for the first game of this season, he actually looked really good, and I thought the internet went out again, and I was about to lose my ish. But if you look at him this season so far, his PRA line, he had 44 in one game versus Detroit. They ended up winning that game 115-111. It was a close game, pretty fast pace. If you look at them, they're playing against Orlando tonight. Orlando on a back-to-back once again, like we talked about a minute ago. If you look at Orlando's stats given to the center position, they have a very good defense. This is going from last season. 9th in terms of points allowed, 3rd in terms of rebounds allowed, and then 1st in terms of assists allowed to the center position. They don't give up many stats. If you look at the lineups right now, injuries for the Bulls, they're missing Kobe White still, missing Zach Collins. If you look at Orlando, they got a couple of game time decisions. That's been game time decision for rest. He may not play. Just keep an eye on it. I'm expecting a regular lineup here tonight. We'll see what happens. But I do like Vucevic. Now, you can get Vucevic in terms of rebounds or PRA. I like 2 lines for him. So you can take his PRA line if you want to take it at 33.5. I don't think that's bad. Head-to-head data versus the Magic. He cashed it both games last season. 37 and 34 PRA in the 2 games. PRA at 33.5 is a little bit high. It's getting close to that line I'm almost scared to take, but I'm not scared to take that line. I think it's a decent line. Now, Vucevic at 8.5 rebounds right now is a boosted play on parlay play. You can play these together and get a 2.5x, $250 wins me $620 if I do want to play that line. Now, PRA, in terms of PRA, if you wanted to buy them down, 30 PRA is the line that I like more. You can still get a 2.24x. I do like this 30 PRA. I'm a lot better than 33.5. I don't care about that payout at 33.5. It goes up to a 3.11x. But in terms of this, 29.5 PRA or 8.5 boards, I think should be good for our man Vooch. If we click rebounds here, we can look at his hit rate on rebounds at 8.5. He cashed it in his only game this season. He had 14 in his last game, and if you look at him last season, he cashed it in 68% of the games. He averaged 10 rebounds per game on average. Head-to-head data, cashed it both games versus the Magic. Both props have a pretty good hit rate, and both. Even though they don't give up many stats, I think Vooch is going to be needed. Him or Giddey. Giddey didn't look super good in game one, so Vucevic was the one who feasted. I'm hoping it goes the same way tonight versus Orlando, and hopefully the game does stay pretty competitive. So that is going to be pick number 2. Jumping into our third pick of the day, we're going back to Siakam. We're taking our man Pascal, and we're going to take him versus whoa, why did Siakam not pop up? So taking this versus Pacers versus the Grizzlies. So the Grizzlies are on a back-to-back, but they got blown out last night. They got absolutely destroyed last night. It was not a close game, and that being said, they didn't play very many minutes. For example, Morant only played 21 minutes. He didn't play his normal 30, 33 minutes that he would normally get. So for a man Ja to go lower on minutes, they're not going to be as tired as a normal back-to-back team would be if the game stayed close. So looking at the lineups right now, obviously Pacers missing a lot. Halliburton out for the season. They're missing Cam Jones, Quentin Jackson, TJ McConnell still out, Nembhard's out. So missing a lot of players on the Pacers side of things. Pascal was the one who stepped it up in the first game, and I expected him to step it up again here tonight versus the Grizzlies. Grizzlies usually play pretty fast-paced. Pacers play fast-paced. This is the highest game total game on the slate, I do believe. It might be one behind the Atlanta OKC game, but I'm not 100% on that, and I can't pull that up to check it because my internet's trash. So that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the hit rate. So we can take 2 props for Pascal. I like our man Pascal to give us points, rebounds, and assists, or his points line. Now, his RA line's not bad either. There's a few props that I like for Siakam, but I do like his PRA line. It's at 34.5, a little bit high. He should cash it when he's main. He's going to be the go-to guy, in my opinion. He had 51 in game 1. That was versus OKC. OKC, a very good defensive team, obviously. If you look at this matchup versus Memphis, Memphis has the 24th ranked team in terms of points allowed, 10th ranked in rebounds, and then 17th in assists. If you go to power forward, it's a little bit better. If you go to small forward, it's a whole lot worse. So what I do when I'm looking at the forward position or looking at the guard position is I kind of average the two. So I'm going to average the power forward and the small forward position, and you're looking at around 21st in the league in terms of points allowed to the forward position overall, and then you're looking at 35th or 17th in terms of rebounds allowed, and then 16 plus 26 divided by 2, you're looking at 21st in terms of assists allowed. Now that's that's kind of I kind of just do that myself. It's not like that's you should do that and average them out. That's necessarily, but I do like to do that only when one position gives up a ton and the other gives up kind of not very good. So it's middle of the pack power forward, ton to the small forward. So that's why I like to average them out sometimes, just to try to get a little bit of a different look on it, and it usually does pretty well for me. So I'm going to continue doing that until I find a reason not to. But for now, I do like this line for our man Pascal. I think he cashes 34.5 PRA, and then you can get his points line at 19.5 again. 19.5 is not a bad play again. He had 32 points his last game. He cashed his 52% of games last season. Head-to-head, he did go under both games versus Memphis, but they had a pretty full, healthy team last year, so you got to remember that as well. So I'm going to take this chance here for our man Siakam. Let's pull him up. Points is at 19.5, you have a 1.5x for his points, or at 34.5 PRA, you have a 1.7x for PRA. So at those lines, I'd probably just take his points. I like 19.5 points better than 34.5 PRA for sure, because I don't think he's going to get 15 RA. But 29.5 versus 19.5 it starts to get into that bad payout on 29.5. So I might just run the 19.5 points. We're going to pull it up real quick. The payout on this full slip would be a 3.5x if we played all three of these together, which we may end up doing that for fun, just to try to get a big slip in. But let's talk about our final play to begin with before we lock in slips. So final play I'm going to take is going to be for our man Ja. Taking Ja Morant, taking the other side of this Memphis game. I want to look at this Suns-Nuggets game. I want to. The Suns on a back-to-back against the Nuggets. They're 12.5 on the spread. I'm so scared that the Suns get blown out. Now, this game, if it stays competitive, that is an incredibly good game for player props. I think the Nuggets will feast on the Suns. I think the Suns could get some good stats versus the Nuggets if the game stays close, but there's so much blowout potential. It just worries me, and I didn't want to give that for a free pick. So we're going to go ahead and talk about our man Ja Morant. So Ja Morant, like I said, coming off a back-to-back. Last game, he didn't play very many minutes. If we look at his PRA, he ended up playing pretty sure 21 minutes his last game. Yeah, 21.6 minutes, played 29 in game one versus the Pelicans where they won 128 to 122. So he's going to get around 30 minutes usually. Looking at his last game, obviously didn't play nearly as much because they got beat by 32 points, and that he didn't even come in the fourth quarter at all. So obviously, I don't think that they're going to get blown out again that bad. Not versus an injured Pacers team, but the Pacers didn't look bad in game one, so we got to remember that as well. So hopefully Memphis can keep this close. Hopefully it's a pretty high-scoring game, fast-paced game. I like Morant to give us 32.5 PRA. That's the line that I like the most. He cashed this in 65% of games last season, and a lot of those games Bane played, so you got to remember that as well. Head-to-head versus the Pacers. Our man Morant has not looked very good, but like I said, Bane was in the 2 games he played right here, which brings down his usage a lot. Jaren Jackson was pretty hot last season, so you got to factor that in too. Jackson's stats hasn't been as good at the beginning of this year as I thought they were going to be, but our man Morant looked good in the first game, looked mid the last game, but it was a blowout, so not much we can say. Miami has they don't give up very many stats in general, and Bam freaking feasted that game. So I do expect this game to be a little bit more close, expect it a fast-paced game, expect Morant to give us 33 PRA, and I like that line. So you guys can take what you want. I don't dislike his points either. You can take Ja at points as well. His points line sitting at 24.5-ish. 25 points is a little bit pushing it in my opinion, but I do like that 32 PRA if you take it there, which we can't get on parlay play. At 34.5, this would give us a 5.4x. 250 would win us $1,350 if we played this. So do we risk this? Do we take a 250 for a Hail Mary play and just go for it? 34.5 for our man Morant. So if we bring this up to 34.5, his hit rate's probably going to go under. Now it's at 51%, so it's still over half, but that makes it a little bit more coin flip. He theoretically should get it. Obviously, they're missing a lot of players too. Zach Edey, Ty Jerome, Pippen, Vince Williams, Brandon Clark. They're missing a lot of players. Starting 5 still looks probably like that should for the most part. So it's not like they're hurting too bad, but they do have quite a few injuries. Same for Pacers though. So Pacers, you got to give that to them too. They're missing a lot of players. Morant at 34.5, I don't think that 3 PRA is bad, but I do like the 32.5 better, and I know you can get the 32.5 on Prizepicks if we pull Ja Morant up real quick. 32.5, that's points and assists. PRA, 32.5. You can get it here. If you play it with Hartenstein, you still got to double up. So I do like that 32.5 a little bit better on Prizepicks. If I was going to play points, we can maybe take a discounted point line on this and run that. You can only take him at 24.5 or 20. At 20, this becomes a 4x. I like his 20 points a lot better than I like his 24.5, obviously. Let's look at his points at 19.5. He shot how many field goal attempts his first 2 games? 18 and then 16, so not bad. He's still shooting a lot of field goals. He shot 25% in his last game. Obviously, not gonna get very many points when you're shooting 25%. He cashed this line 71% last season. Missed it both games versus the Pacers. I think I'm going to fade Morant on parlay play just because I don't like the value on the lines we're getting, and I'm just going to play it on Prizepicks. You can play it with whatever you want. You can play it with Hartenstein if you want. You can pick any of these other 3 plays and play it with that and have almost a double up. So Hartenstein, Vucevic, you'd have to play a little bit higher. You couldn't play him at 30 and still get a double up. But Siakam, you should be able to play at 19.5 and still get a double up. So I'm going to play these 3 together, $250 to win $892. And we locked it in. The slip is locked in live. I'm not going to refresh just because I'll refresh. If my internet doesn't work, it doesn't work. Okay, so we're good. Siakam, Vucevic, Hartenstein on that slip. And then we're going to lock in one more play as a boosted play and see if we can get a good slip going on here. So we could lock in Vucevic's rebounds. We could take SGA's points. I like that too. SGA shooting freaking 20 free throws a game right now. Tyrese Maxey at 3 3-pointers. That's probably a good play. I don't like playing 3-point lines to be honest with you. And then the other boost is Devin Booker. I'm not touching Booker because of blowout potential. So I think I'm just going to run with the Vooch. Told you guys I like the Vooch rebounds, so we're going to run his boards as well, and then we'll play it with something else. So Who else did we have? We had PRA for Siakam. We had iHeart once again. Let's see here. What could we lock in with our man Vooch and get some good value? I'm not touching Banchero for a while just because of what he did yesterday. He looked horrendous yesterday. I don't want to touch a lot of players on a back-to-back either. We can look at, I guess we could play an SGA point prop, maybe. SGA is probably going to shoot 10 to 15 free throws, let's be honest. It's his PRA line. His lines are just so elevated from that last game. It's hard to want to play him. I know he's freaking good, and he'll probably have a really big game, but I don't like playing 50-something PRA and stuff like that, or high 40 PRA. I might just run this with, we took Siakam points. Let's take Siakam RA or PRA and just play it like that. I think that's going to be what I'm going to run. You can get his RA at 12.5, his PRA at 29.5. 29.5 gives us a 1.8x. I'd rather play one safer slip and then play that other one. So let's do this. I'm just going to do that. It's going to be 250 to win 452. I'm going to lock it in. It's still $200 profit. I'm cool with profiting 200 if it cashes. So those are the two slips I'm locking in live. You guys saw the picks that I got. I like iHeart boards, Vucevic PRA or rebounds. We like Siakam PRA or points, and then we like Ja points or PRA. You can pick the ones you like the best. Regular lines get a little bit tough on some of these because these lines do get very, very sharp, but that's why I like buying them down by a couple and giving us a little bit of an edge there. But regardless, these are the two slips I'm locking in. You got $500 in entries to profit $845 if we cash both slips. I like both slips. I think we've got a good chance of cashing both here. So lock them in if you like them, fade them if you don't. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like and comment. Join the Discord if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next video.